Right. Welcome everyone to the Olympus Sim Racing Round 3 here at Silverstone. And this is Season 5 of the GT3 Sprint Series. My name is Shiv. I'm joined today with my commentator Eric in the commentary booth. Eric, how are you doing today?
I am very good today. Thank you for asking. Despite a little bit of issues here at the start, I think we will be good.
Indeed. So it appears that one instance of my game has indeed glitched. So currently at the moment we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties with that, but I can commentate as I can see the wonderful Eric's stream at the moment. Currently here at Silverstone, the GT layout. So the GT layout is typically the entirety of Silverstone, except we don't start at Abbey Farm and Arena. We start at Woodcote, Cops, Maggots, and Beckett's. We start at, for reference for everyone, asking the old pit lane as opposed to the new one. So typically within Silverstone you have, and this is primarily, I'm referring to the Formula 1 aspect of this, you typically have a very high braking zone going through Abbey Farm and two turns, typically turns 3 and 4. However, going through Woodcote, Cops, Maggots, and Beckett's are very high, speed corners, and you're not going to be doing a lot of braking. You may be doing lifting, but you're not going to be doing braking unless you're quite afraid or something might happen in the first lap, which in a place like Silverstone, I see someone who's already gone off.
I believe that might be Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, indeed. Well, I think, isn't Tom Hanks the name of a pilot that landed a plane in the Hudson River, if I'm not mistaken?
It might be, but I also know it's
the
name of an actor, isn't it?
Yeah, I do believe so. Yeah, Tom Hanks, outside of the racing, rings a bell. But currently, as it stands, the main thing is, although we're talking about flights and how Silverstone technically is a bit of an older circuit, we are going to be talking about the main braking zone, which is on the hangar straight to Stowe. And I think at the moment that's where they've just gone through now. So they've just gone through Stowe, now going through the typical Grand Prix starts. This is where you would start typically in Formula 1. You can see all the cars really being bunched up here at the moment as they go through the final couple of sectors. And this is where the typical braking zone would be in a lot of Formula 1 races. So now through Abbey, through Farm, and now turn 3 on the approach to Arena. And Arena is part of the first sector, but now is part of the final sector. So everyone's really starting to warm up their tires here now because this is the point where it's really gonna matter, because you're gonna want a good run through Woodcote, through Cops, through Maggots and Beckett's, because if you want to have cold tires, you're gonna be understeering a lot. But if you're gonna have very warm tires, then you're gonna be sliding around a lot, which is good in a sense, but also terrible because your car is gonna meet the marshals and meet the fans, but not in the way you'd expect. But currently, as it stands, as I'm watching here through the stream, and as my game is really starting to load up, and we can see that they are at the moment going through the final couple of sectors. So now we're going through Arena. Here's a pretty heavy braking point as well. You want to have either the inside or the outside, preferably. A lot of people going through the inside because they want to go through the outside of Luffield and now onto Woodcote. Approaching the start-finish line, 2 cars. I think that is one of the McLarens and also one of the Aston Martins side by side. Speed limit is respected. 3 minutes till my game launches, so we'll be with you in just a short while. We can see some ducking and weaving as the start line commences. We can see the grid, and we are now on the red flag status. 1 hour and 15 minutes worth of racing to go, and we've crossed the line, and I think it is going to be
starting
green.
Right up here.
And it is green, and go, says the AIF game. 2 mandatory pit stops, 1 hour and 14 minutes of racing here at Silverstone. Good getaway from the pack at the moment. So all getting away cleanly. This is going to really matter to here. Into now Cops Corner, now through Maggots, and now through Beckett's, and no banging at the wheels. We have some cars going wide onto the gravel traps, and that's okay. That's not too bad. But currently, as it stands, everyone is getting away cleanly. We don't see any spins, and we are on board now with James Pendry in the number 73 Audi. At the moment, we can see how chaotic it is, really taking advantage of slipstream as we go side by side with that BMW thing that is P. Foldacy, and he does get the position on the BMW. So
Let's
currently
see if he
going
can hold
through.
it here.
See if he can hold it, because the braking is going to be quite crucial. And looking at the Audi, looks like he does hold it. And now flat line to through Vale, through Club's corner, and now through Abbey and Farm. So it's going to be quite good. But that was a very good opening lap from James Pendry in the number 73 Audi at the moment. So currently in P6 as the sector times update. Obviously, it looks like P. Foldacy's in front, but now he can chase after the, I think that is the Lexus of Kenny Powers in the very recognizable red, white, and blue livery representing the French flag, and also the McLaren of Case Saranko, the number 64 McLaren, very well performing in qualifying, and hopefully does the same in the race. And it is really James Pendry's game at the moment, as I think the Audi is really coming alive. I think he's properly warmed up his tires and has the pace here at Silverstone. So it's going to be quite the interesting race to see what happens. Currently, the field is separated by 13 seconds. Zawadiski in the number 69 Ferrari is the one, I guess, in last place at the moment. P. Foldacy, though, is dropping. I think he's had a bit of an incident. If we can go onto him, if we can get a camera onto him. Yep, I think he must have spun. So for P. Foldacy, that is quite unfortunate for the BMW driver. 9.2 seconds back from the P13 placed R. Morton. However, we have seen P. Foldacy's pace, and it is good. And we see a spinning Audi, and I think that is James Pendry, if I'm not mistaken. So the man who was doing quite well on the opening lap was in P6, has now dropped down onto P13 at the moment. The number 73 Audi.
I believe something has happened to car 97 as well, because he's dropped down with Pendry, so maybe they had an incident.
A Petit and Pendry were battling, so it could be the fact that they were there, and indeed that is A Petit in the number 97 McLaren at the moment. So it could be that they were battling, and it is very possible to see that happening. Obviously, they're very fast drivers, and they don't want to give space. So we are not seeing the chaos we were expecting on the opening lap. However, now as the race really ensues, that it is going to get much better and better. Game is loading, so we'll be blind for, I'd say, a minute or two. But in the meantime, over to you.
Yeah, it looks like we had quite a few incidents at the start. Peter Foldacy, James Pendry, and Alban Petit. Although it does look like Foldacy and Pendry and Petit had different incidents. So that is going to be interesting to see in the replay after the race what might have happened there.
Indeed, everything will most likely be looked at over by the FIA, so it'll be good to see what comes out of that. Hopefully, race control will appropriately, I guess, administer those penalties as I load into the session. I guess hopefully my game does finally decide to work. That would be absolutely marvelous, ACC, because yesterday you were really not working for me, and today, will you work for me? Fingers crossed. Indeed you are. Okay, so now I can see my directory at the moment, and currently as it stands, we are seeing a couple of close battles off of track. So though the field has been spread out over the course of these 2 laps, it is going to be close battles, because Silverstone is a circuit that a lot of people know of, and especially that you could potentially do a lot with pit strategies here. Obviously, Silverstone is a very high tire wear circuit.
We are seeing Petit trying to overtake Rocky, and who is that other car? Is that Tarkowski, I believe?
And I think he has overtaken them at the moment. So Petit currently gaining those positions, coming up to now.
He really made that look really easy.
I mean, Petit has the pace. We've seen, even though he had an incident with James Pendry in the number 73 Audi, he does have the pace to fight at the front. He was in, I think, P5 or P6 at one point. So if we go up to the sector detector at the moment, so going through it now, we can see Petit's position has been updated from 12th place up to 10th. So that is two positions that he has gained and now can chase after T. Balikaya in the number 51 Porsche. The Porsches have been looking a bit all over the place, but I think this will be an easy pass for Petit. 1.6 seconds currently separates them, going across the start-finish line in a few moments' time through Luffield and now through Woodcote. As it stands, we can see Petit really trying to get a stranglehold and on McLaren, but does have the pace to beat the front and potentially can be at the front if he calls his pit stops very right. As previously mentioned, we were talking about how Silverstone is a very high tire wear circuit, so we could potentially see that come into effect, as well as there is no mandatory tire changes, but unlike Zolder last week, where it's quite literally main straight, and as I said, that Petit goes slamming and sliding through the gravel. So I guess that was a bit of commentator's curse and really shows how important. I just saw him lose it. I just saw him lose it on Maggots and Beckett's, touched the curb and then went sliding into the gravel, did a bit of a Tokyo drift for the marshals and whatnot. If this race wasn't exciting, it was more exciting. Drops down.
Is making a move on Rocky, and looks like he got it, and Tarkowski looks like he's next.
So we can see with a lot of these front runners, they drop down due to silly mistakes, but they have the pace and they quickly get rid of the back markers. But what I've seen in a lot of my league racing commentating is that we see a lot of these guys push a lot because they're fueled by the overtakes. And as I say, that Tarkowski goes a bit wide and tries to do what Petit did.
Just what you were talking about. He pushed a little bit too hard.
And he's not able to save that. Luckily gets back on track and I guess now has dropped a couple of positions, and we can see how warm those rear tires are at that point. That's really brings me nicely onto my point. I think he is at the moment last on track, so that's a real shame for M. Tarkowski. Actually not last on track.
Sawatsky has taken a pit stop, it looks like.
So getting all of those pits out of the way, I don't think that's a good idea. I genuinely...
Especially at Silverstone, because as you said earlier, it's a high wear on the tires here. So you might want to save that pit stop to the end.
Especially through Maggots and Beckett's, that's one big thing. Silverstone has the longest pit lane of any of the calendars, so the fact that you take a pit stop now is either the fact that your tires are completely gone, which, unless you've done a burnout, and as I say that, a Petit goes sliding off into the not the barriers, but more the gravel, goes back onto the track.
What is going on? What is going on?
I think it's just Maggots and Beckett's. Maggots and Beckett's is such a vital corner for a lot of these individuals. They push, they have the pace to be at the front, and then they overextend, and then their car goes sliding off into the tarmac, off into the grass, off into wherever. So it's really about all of this. Like, that's the main thing, really leading onto tire wear. If individuals choose to not hit their tires, they're essentially looking for a puncture. They're essentially looking for this to happen. Tire wear can happen here at Silverstone. It's a very intense circuit. You're throwing your car around everywhere. I don't even think 2 pit stops is what we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see even more. We're not gonna see mandatory pit stops anymore. Clear. We're gonna see unplanned pit stops for the tire advantage, because the tire advantage here is so huge.
Yeah, the question is who is gonna, like, the more professional drivers, they might suffice with 1 or 2 sets of tires, but the newer drivers are gonna have worse setups that are gonna wear out the tires way more. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out.
Indeed, we are, and that's gonna be quite interesting because the main thing is we could see what we saw in Formula One today at the Spanish Grand Prix, where individuals take a third deliberate pit stop in order to gain the tire wear. Though it's one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar at the moment, we are seeing that the tire advantage is quite high. And we can see the professional drivers obviously nurse those tires all the way to the end. However,
Oh,
I can't.
Petit just punts Kenny Powers. Or no, that was Rocky. Caro. Caro just pushed Powers out of the way and made a pass. Looks like he's letting him pass again, though.
Well, that's good sportsmanship from Kay Soranko in the number 74 McLaren at the moment. It is good to see that these drivers do respect each other, and though there's a punt, there isn't an immediate, okay, I'm going to take the position and run. We do see A Petit, though, serving his first pit stop. Was that for repairs? Was that for tires? I'm not sure, but he is the first of the, I guess, potential front runners, because I say that potential.
Oh, no, he's just got to stop and go. He just got to stop and go.
Him into the pits, and as well as he's bumped into Zawadzki, who's gone off into the pit exit and potentially deliberately blocked Petit. The Petit now has damage and a stop and go penalty, and in chat, his remarks are not the greatest at the moment. But currently, as it stands, it is that's super unfortunate from Petit. And honestly, I hope he does get a bit of a comeback in the future.
Yeah, that was not. I don't know what is going on with Petit today. He is usually never driving this.
I'm not sure what happened there. Was that a deliberate action to block people? Because I think he must have spun on the pit lane exit, but he had time to move out. Oh, that's super unfortunate for Petit. Petit does leave the session. We have 14 drivers. That's going to be definitely be taken a look at by stewardess Zawadzki.
Yeah,
nearly loses it.
I completely missed it. Did you actually see what happened there?
I did. So it seemed that Petit was in the pit lane for repairs or to get an early thing on the pit stop. But the main thing is, what happened is Zawadzki either, and looking at the footage now, most probably that was not a deliberate spin, right? But what he did was he span in the pit exit, which means that obviously with Petit coming out of the pit lane, that means that he slammed into him quite hard, and in turn got some pretty bad damage to both of them. But that is quite unfortunate, because that's what I saw. I'm not sure if it was deliberate. If it was deliberate, then Zawadzki should be disqualified out of the race for hindering another driver. I'm not too sure even why you would do that. And I know that he is last place and he's got nothing to lose and he's 2 laps down, but that is one thing of beating your competitors, is not taking them out of the race. He is promoted to position, though, regardless, due to the fact that he is that Petit has left and he has spun again on I think that is Brooklyn's corner. So that is I don't know how to describe that in terms of driving. That's I think all part of the Ferrari master plan. Spinala is a very prominent meme saying that, though. Tarowski in the number 420 Audi goes off into the gravel but still keeps it on track. Zawadzki, though, in the Ferrari tradition, does keep on spinning. I'm not too sure what his driving is at the moment. Maybe his pedals are inverted or something like that. His steering wheel cut in half. Going into the pits again to repair the damage and get rid of his pit stop. About an hour into the race, and we shall see what happens in that hour's time. But currently, as it stands, M. Whitford is your leader. El Faster is in the Aston Martin, about 3.4 seconds around. Case Saranko, about 3.1 seconds behind. C. Hoffman in the number 488 Ferrari, he's about 6.5 seconds. W. Wilmink in the McLaren is about 3.6 seconds behind. Tom Hanks in the number 666 Aston Martin, 6.0 seconds behind. T. Balikaya, actually that is a lie, because actually it's James Pendry who's in front and is maybe better of those individuals who messed up at the start. Currently 70 Balikaya 8th. R. Morton is 9th. He can see the fight, but he can't really partake in it. T. Hermosilla is in 10th, so that's a fight on the hands. P. Foldacy is in 11th. M. Taroski is in 12th. Kenny Powers is in P13 at the moment, and A. Zawadzki obviously in the pit lane.
It does look like Powers has
damage.
taken his first pit stop though, so he might still be up in the top fighting for the top positions there.
Indeed, but to take a pit stop that early is going to be quite interesting. Though these aren't like Formula 1 tires, which I'm thinking of. These are GT tires, so they would last a lot longer. Especially we have seen the performance from Kenny Powers really be.
We just see Zawadzki clearing his last pit stop already.
So obviously, I don't think those were deliberate, calculated pit stops. Those were pit stops for damage. Those were unexpected pit stops. But now he's done that. He is free to go to the end of the race. My question is, with the driving we've seen from him, can he even make it to the end of the race? Is what I'm trying to say. But currently, as it stands, T. Hermosilla, the individuals, he was running in the top 10 for a while. Currently, the number 130 Ferrari has his first pit stops. We are seeing the first round of pit stops really commence at the moment. Kenny Powers, though, in the number 5 Lexus, just comes out right behind him on those warmed up tires and has the pace advantage going through Maggots and now Beckett's at the moment, and has the slipstream from the Ferrari. We can see how much Hermosilla is really holding up Kenny Powers, but Hermosilla trying to break the toe, and Kenny Powers really using that toe off of that Lexus at the moment. He's gaining. He's going to go to the side, potentially. Going to go down the inside, and now he is gone. Kenny Powers moves up into 13th place as it stands.
12th place, I believe.
12th place. Sorry,
I thought that was a unlapping, but apparently they are on the same lap. Yeah.
Indeed, and the only individual who's on lapped is A. Zawadzki in the number 69 Ferrari at the moment.
Yeah, unlike Zolder, if you take a pit stop on Zolder, you're almost going to be lapped immediately. But on this track, it's a little bit longer, so you got a little bit more space before you get lapped.
I do think that the without a safety car or a yellow flag, the average pit loss at Silverstone is about 30 to 40 seconds apiece. So, yeah, we're looking at laps. Currently, at the moment, the fastest lap is a 1 minute 5. No, not 1 minute 58. Shall I say? So, looking at it now, about 30 seconds is, I would say, a good quarter, but nearly a quarter of the lap. So it's not as bad as you mentioned, Zolder, when the fact that you pit, you're halfway done with the lap, or Austria, kind of thing, where it's half the lap already done. And yeah, it's gonna be good, but hopefully we'll see some interesting pit strategies at the moment. Kenny Powers is the individual who's on half his pit stops now to do, so it's only just one more pit stop is the individual to keep a lookout for, as he's being chased, or rather chasing Taurski in the number 420 Audi at the moment. So he's just approaching now, and we will see what happens currently as we stand. The leader is still M. Whitford, but 10 laps have been on this race, about an hour
we do have a
to go.
Battle going on between Lucas Fessler and Kara Sorenko at the moment.
So we have seen these guys battle it out. Currently 4 tenths separate them both. Obviously Soranko has a more aerodynamic car, and the Aston Martin's very good in the corners, but the McLaren mainly is good on the straights as well. Currently going through the hangar straight at the moment. Soranko is gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. Is he going to go down the outside or the inside? Nope, he's not. But he has gotten much better braking at the moment. So as the sun shines, Lucas Faster goes quite wide. Does keep it on track, does maintain the flat outness, but was that really worth it? Because that is going to be quite a big track limits penalty, I think, for Lucas Faster in the number 27, 27 Aston Martin. Currently, as it stands, 54 minutes to go in this race, rather 53 minutes to go in this race. Looking at the moment, we do have Case Soranko really chasing down Al Faster. He's really feeling the pressure, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does spin. And this is really closer than they've been ever before, going to the sector. Now that's a 2/10 gap. I think that's going to be demolished pretty quickly, and that's going to be a 1/10 gap at the moment. Lucas Fassler is
like
under pressure. He's going to go down the inside. Is he going to go down the outside of him? He might just do. And Case Soranko moves up into second place at the moment.
That look really smooth.
It was quite smooth, but it's not over yet. Lucas Faster still has a bit of a fight on his hands. We have seen that Lucas is a very good qualifying, but he is no pushover. He has been doing very well in the class at the moment, so we could potentially see him work on strategy to really combat Soranko, and has about a half a second gap already. So he is safe to see Hoffman in the 488 Ferrari, so he doesn't have to worry about a podium place being lost, but he obviously once more, as a racing driver should typically do so. And currently, as it stands, the only individuals who have taken one pit stop are Kenny Powers, who's in 11th, and that is T. Hermosillo, who is in 12th. And the only individual who has finished their pit stops is A. Zawadzki in the number 69 Ferrari in 14th. We're going to see really in the top 10 who's going to be really focusing on their pit stop at the moment. So currently Kenny Powers chasing P. Fuldaci in the BMW. It's Lexus versus BMW at the moment. Not too far apart the gap is, but we're going to see what happens, because P. Fuldaci has been a very consistent driver, found himself in the top 10 routinely. Kenny Powers has pace for top 5 and is very, very good in that Lexus, and really pushing as much as he can at the moment. So 51 minutes and 40 seconds to go right now, and the race is still underway. So a lot can happen. A lot of people still haven't pitted for their first pit stop. So we're going to see what happens at the moment, as we are seeing the gap from the leader, I think that is M. Whitford, and to Case Soranko. So both the McLarens are actually closing down on each other. So M. Whitford is obviously trying to make the gap bigger. Currently the gap is about at 5.2 seconds. Now the gap is at, it says 1 lap, but we'll get that soon enough. As we do see, actually M. Tarski, 5.1 seconds, so that is reducing by about a tenth per lap per sector.
I'm looking at the times here currently, and last lap Mark Whitford did a 1:59.6, while Kara Soranko made a 1:59.2. So Kara is definitely chasing. He's chasing really hard right now.
So the McLarens battle it out. Could be like Prost and Senna at the moment. Could be like Alonso and Hamilton. Saying that though, in terms of pit strategy, we are seeing that M. Tarski in the number 420 Audi has also pulled the trigger and has gone for his first deliberate pit stop of the session. So it's about 50 minutes to go. How long can he make those tires last? He made those tires last, we started about a minute, an hour and 15 minutes. So that has been about 25 minutes. So it could be another 25 minutes into the race before he needs to pit again. Currently in 13th place and in a lot of people's pit window at the moment. So he could potentially gain a couple of positions, provided he does have the pace to do so, and obviously on those fresher tires, and as well as that new splash of fuel will be quite interesting to see what happens. We have seen him fighting decently well in the field. So we'll see what happens within that. But currently, as it stands, P Full Daisy currently chasing R Morton, currently chasing T Balikaya. So it's a BMW chasing Porsche. So the German manufacturers all trying to rival each other. Meanwhile, though, Kenny Powers currently in 11th, number 5 Lexus, just going through the hangar straight at the moment. I don't know if that pit stop's really worked out for him. He is technically a net P1 when you think about it in terms of pit strategy. However, we will see what happens. Does he have the pace to? Yes, he does. But as I say that, the first of the top guns have really fit. That is El Fassler in the number 27 Aston Martin. And we're probably going to see Case Ranko or M. Whitford also pit, as we are seeing some connection issues, at least on my side from Case Ranko. That ping is
Yeah, that
extremely
is
high.
looking really bad. It's also
So
looking like he's lost 2 seconds on Whitford, but that might be due to the connection issues.
indeed, it might be nothing as gutting as having it not be your fault and still losing out. But currently, Case Ranko still manages to keep it on track, and Whitford leading an El Fassler technically in the net P1
As we see
after
Daisy going into the pits together with Pendry and Fassler all at the same time.
so we are seeing some activity in the pit lane at the moment. El Fassler obviously came in first and is the highest placed pit lane driver. Exits P6 at the moment and probably has the pace to overtake the cars in front of him. Is there any cars behind him? That is Zawadiski in the number 14 Ferrari, who's going to gain 2 positions right off of that. I think no, he isn't, because he's 2 laps down at the moment. So Fassler currently in P7, fresher tires, rather in P8 as the standings really update. About 3 seconds away from R. Morton in the number 44 Porsche. So potentially we could see him catch up quite fast. And as I say that, settings have just updated once again. So he is the first of the major runners to pull the trigger. And currently, this sense, we do see C. Hoffman in the 488 Ferrari, 13 seconds away, in Al Fassler's position, the podium position, in P3. P. Full Daisy is just exiting out of the pit lane now. Exits in P11, that may be P12 as soon as the standings update, and that is P12, has been passed by James Pendry, who was doing quite well in this race and struggled, and doing quite well now, struggling as well, but also doing quite decently, currently in P11 with 1 pit stop to his name and 1 pit stop to go at the moment, chasing after T. Hermosilla, 15 seconds up the road.
It looks like Falacia has also been lapped by Sorenko at this moment.
And Tom Hanks in the number 666 Aston Martin, sorry to just cut you off there, has just come into the pits now. So we are seeing some activity in the pit lane, and we are seeing a lot of people in past them. But we'll see what happens. About 46 minutes to go in this race still, and anything can really happen as it stands.
Those 2 Porsches there, they're keeping very close to each other since the start of the race. They're still within 4 seconds.
Well, the Porsches have been doing decently. They've managed to stay out of trouble, but also cause a bit of trouble as well. They're 6th and 7th due to the fact that they haven't pitted, and as soon as they pit, they're most likely going to drop down the order. But we've seen the pace with these Porsches, and obviously they're good at conserving their tires if they've gone this far into the race. So it's very well done from them at the moment. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll see one of the Porsches pit, and if they can work together potentially as a team.
Look at that. Is that just the timing's not updating yet? Because it looks like Fassler is behind Tom Hanks right now. Both have made a pit stop.
Indeed. So I think Tom Hanks must have had a mega in-lap to get up ahead of Fassler. And Tom Hanks is currently in 7th place, El Fassler in 8th. Is this going to mean that Fassler get...
Fassler must have repaired something on his car? Or possibly it is that Hanks has not changed tires while Fessler did change tires? Because they were quite far apart from each other before the pit stop.
Well, it looks the fact that potentially Hank may have not changed tires because we are seeing Fester actually gain on him quite fast. It might just be the raw pace, it might just be the fact that Fessler is just very fast. But we could see something because I think that Fessler definitely did have some damage for sure, and definitely did have something that they were doing. As Hanks goes really, really wide, goes onto the gravel. Fessler, just before the start finish line, takes what's his, goes P7 at the moment, and now can chase after R. Morton. 10-second gap for the number 44 Porsche.
That was pretty intense. I just saw we had a overtake on Hermosilla by James Pendry as well, just at the same time as that other battle. So we have James Pendry in 10th now and Hermosilla down to 11th.
So James Pendry is a bit of a curious case. Was doing quite well. I think he can do quite well if he really perfects the strategy. He's got to go very long if he's gonna do well, because currently as it stands, pit box windows are now starting to form 15 laps in, so we could potentially see it happening. Sorry, I've just been a bit all over the place because my voice is slowly trundling away. So excuse me for about 1 minute. I'm just gonna go get some water.
I will be taking over. It looks like Zawadzki is still in last place. It's gonna be interesting to see if he will drive the entire race without doing any more pit stops, but his tires are going to be so worn out that he might as well do a second or a third pit stop actually, just to be able to finish the race, because it would be like driving on ice if he does not do. As we spectate Lucas Fessler, currently the leader out of the guys that have made their pit stops so far. Rocky Morton not far ahead of him, but he still has not made his pit stop. It's going to be interesting to see how long the top drivers are going to stay out on track before they take their pit stop. Right now, Whitford is in the lead, 5 seconds on Soranko, so Soranko has not been able to close that position. I think it's been 10 minutes since they started fighting that, but Soranko not being able to push harder. Whitford might even be just taking it easy here, because Whitford is a really fast driver, so you might not want to push too hard.
The fact that Soranko was even able to catch up to Whitford 10th by 10th is pretty astonishing. Not even on one lap, but more so on multiple laps as well.
Yeah.
Currently as it stands.
I'm wondering though if that is because Whitford is withholding. Like he might not want to push fully to make a mistake. He might just be driving a little bit slower on purpose.
It could be that, because both of them are on each other's pit box windows, and Whitford may be pushing, because if he wasn't pushing, then the gap would have gone down faster. So it could be that Whitford pushes, uses all of his tires, and then pits on for new ones, while Case Soranko, for the first pit stop, maybe doesn't do that, and then the second one pits onto new tires. But that's only going to give you so much of an advantage for so much time before Whitford, because he is quite fast, will pit in. Or it could just be that Case Ranko lost the pace and is slow and he's gone wide, so I think those tires are really starting to show their wear. So could just be that.
If I was Soranko right now, I would probably try to undercut Whitford and take a pit stop early so he gets more grip on his tires.
For how much longer is the main thing.
Yeah.
That is the big thing. So we do see Speaking of pit stops, T. Balikaya in the number 51 Porsche. So he is currently in seventh, has just been passed, and now just pitting. So the first pit stop for a Porsche car at the moment in this race that promotes his teammate up into fifth place, El Fastler, into sixth. El Fastler into fifth, his teammate into sixth, shall I say. He's gone down a couple of positions at the moment, currently eighth. Kenny Powers just, I think, going across the line now. Does he reach him? I don't think he does. I think he must have passed. Indeed, he has. That is T. Balikaya. Is he going to get passed by Jay Pendry? Not a chance, although we could see what happens with the standings. So he is being passed by Full Daisy, who's on the same lap as him. So that's going to probably drop him down into P12, I would imagine. Full Daisy, though, goes a bit wide. I think hits the barrier.
Does he?
Daisy, Full Daisy is in the wall, trying to reverse, and can get that car out, but that's unfortunate. Maybe he's pushing a bit too hard and just slammed into the wall in turn 13.
Yeah, the thing with Full Daisy is he's a really fast driver, but he has those moments. He has those incidents. Like, I don't know what it is, if he's unlucky or if he's just pushing way too hard over his own safety margins. But he seems to always be that driver that's involved in something and just missing out, even though he has such a good pace.
Indeed, and that's one of the big things we've typically seen is just a lot of drivers, they try to overextend. Oh, that is a drive-through for El Fessler in P5. That is definitely track limits. I think that is because we've seen a huge track limit cut for him quite earlier on the race when he was battling with Case Ranko in the McLaren.
Yeah, he has been pushing the track limits quite hard from the start of the race. So.
Halfway mark, keep pushing.
Indeed, and we've just gotten the call from General that we are halfway into this race, so maybe he can push, and then maybe if he needs to cool off his tires or something, he can take that drive-through penalty a bit strategically. But we'll see what happens. That is going to be really, really unfortunate, and he's got 3 laps to serve that. So if he doesn't, I think a time penalty will be added to it, and then if he doesn't do that, that is going to be disqualification right there. So that's super unfortunate, but that's gonna just tell you, not to, you gotta push, but you're not gonna push so much, you're gonna cut the track. Saying that though, M. Whitford out of the pits, still in P1. C. Hoffman in P2, into the pits. W. Wilmink into the pits, P3. K. Saranko just coming out of Lovefield and Woodcote, and El Fastler probably has to take the drive-through penalty now.
Did we miss when Caro took his pit, or did Whitford and Caro take their pit stops at the same time?
I think they must have taken at the
Caro
same time.
was 5 seconds ahead before the pit stop, and now he seems to be 30 seconds down, so maybe he's made a mistake?
It could be that. 2 laps remaining for the drive-through penalty of case of El Fastler in the number 27 Aston Martin. About 35 minutes to go, shall I say, not 35 laps. Although if you wanted to divide it by laps, it would probably be something around 15 or 20 more laps of this British Grand Prix, rather should I say Silverstone Grand Prix. In a sense, W. Wilming coming out of the pits now in the number 141 McLaren car. So currently in P5 or P6, I do believe so. That is P6. That is potentially, that's P6 for sure. Kenny Powers, though, the man who took the pit stop early and had the pace to be up in the front, currently in P8. So it has worked out for him, but not in the way you'd expect out of the extreme gain that we thought we would see. That is W. Wilming in the number 141 McLaren car, just going through Stowe, and now going through, actually no, that's not Stowe, that's the Hangar Straight. Now he's approaching Stowe and brakes quite hard, now approaches Stowe.
Balikaya spins just as he passes Rocky Morton in the pit lane.
So that is indeed a spin for the number 51 Porsche of Balik. I think we're pushing a bit too much and then just let it go, and that's quite unfortunate. But that is going to give Rocky Martin a guaranteed position off the start, so hopefully that's given him some motivation to go a bit faster than usual. But currently, as it stands, Rocky Martin going up through the sector detected here on the hangar straight here at Silverstone. The number 44 Porsche, where does he stand? He still is in 10th place, so no positions lost nor gained in that pit stop, and everyone bar A. Zawadzki is on one pit stop at the moment. M. Whitford in the number 86. McLaren taking his, I think, final pit stop, going to the end of the race on these tires at the moment, and that is him cleared, and that is the leading runner cleared, Case Saranko. Is he going to be able to catch up? No, he isn't. He's about a 30 seconds gap. That's M. Whitford into the lead. El Fassler goes right behind him. However, with a drive-through penalty at the moment, so Case Saranko leads the race at the moment. But with one pit stop to go, he's going to make this one count. He's got to pit super late into the race if he's going to want to get that tire advantage or take these tires to the end, which we are seeing M. Whitford do at the moment. So Tom Hanks, yep.
I would assume that Caro is not going to change his tires when he does his pit stop. If he wants to gamble and try to win, then he's going to go on the tires he's got.
However, Silverstone's one of tire wear. Sorry to interrupt you. So it won't be that much of an advantage, or even an advantage at all if they got.
I think it's going to be a big gamble, and it's probably not going to work out. But I think that's his only chance if he wants to win this race. Because changing the tires will definitely 100% put him behind Whitford.
Yeah. And I think definitely was something interesting that's gonna happen, because technically, as you mentioned, Whitford is in P1, so we could potentially see him go to the end of the race on these tires. But with Saranko, it's you get like couple of seconds advantage, sure, but that couple of seconds is diminished by the fact that the tires are worn. Unless they can do a Sergio Perez, which for some drivers they are. Some drivers they are starting on this particular set of tires. There's Tom Hanks in the number 666 Aston Martin. Does indeed go
11th place right now. Paul Daisy is chasing Balikaya.
So the BMW chasing Porsche, two German manufacturers, both very successful in their respective fields of racing, especially GT racing, now chasing each other. Daisy tries to go down the inside, now the outside, and now tucks in behind the slipstream of the Porsche. So now going through I wouldn't say hangar straight, but not going through Brooklands. So really gaining that slipstream, really gaining everything they can potentially gain. But I think Balikaya with the Porsche really is moving away. But as we see, Daisy goes down the inside of Balikaya. Doesn't make the move though. If it was a bit faster, we could potentially see that happen. But currently, as it stands, he is catching up to him. Balikaya is feeling the pressure, and especially since he spun, doesn't want to repeat that mistake again. Both of them are on one pit stop, so if it's not the racing,
I believe he's going to go for...
Is he going to go for in maggots and Beckett's? Is he going to go for in maggots? No, he doesn't. He backs out of it. But does he go for in Beckett's? Potentially, he might break up a bit later than usual. Goes down the inside line, and now down of Chapel, and now the hangar straight, and that's Daisy up into 11th. Balikaya couldn't do much about it.
That was a pretty nice overtake.
That was a very nice overtake. That was clean. I didn't actually expect that to be through maggots. I thought they would usually wait till they hangar straight, but no, I guess there's no waiting around here.
Yeah, he launched it right there. I did not see it coming either.
It's I think that's one of the things with the racing drivers. You gotta launch it where your opponent least expect it. Tarikuski in the number 420 Audi into the pits now completes his round of pit stops at the moment. Kenny Powers in fourth place. This is the effect we intended to see in the short term. Now it has become a long term effect, chasing down I think that's M. Whitford in the McLaren has newer tires. M. Whitford has the pace. M. Whitford,
I
Kenny
believe
Powers.
I believe Whitford actually overtook Powers just a lap ago or something like that.
Indeed. So
I
maybe
saw them
instead of
battling at the same time as Faldesi was overtaking Balikaya.
so it could just be that maybe Kenny Powers is just trying to keep with M. Whitford. So it could be interesting. Obviously, M. Whitford can go to the end with this set of tires and is chasing after C. Hoffman and Case Ranko in both of their pit windows at the moment, and hopefully will get the lead of this race soon. It's really going to be about when Case Ranko pits. Whenever he pits is when C. Hoffman pits. I think the rest of the field inadvertently pits at the moment because if he wants to go long, because tire advantage is a big thing here at Silverstone. You can go long, you can race for another 10 to 20 minutes and really drag the pits up till the end. Then new tires start to come in, and then there's a whole thing of will we be able to utilize those new tires and so on and so forth. You know.
Yeah,
Then there's also
and
yeah.
another thing is like the sun is going down right now, and as soon as it goes down, the temperature is going to drop a little bit more than it has already.
So you're
you're
gonna want those new tires then. In
yeah,
that
you
case.
might want the new tires with the right tire pressure on, because it's when the temperature slowly goes down, you're gonna want the tire pressures to match the temperature, and the guys that took their pit stop early, they might be completely off, and they might lose quite a bit of time from that. Still to be seen, though.
Indeed, they might, and that's one of the premier things that could potentially happen is that they'll lose a lot of time due to the fact that they have less grip. And though there's 27 minutes, there's 27 minutes in game as well, so that the temperatures might drop. It's not too much of an effect that you have to alter strategy too much for it, but it is an effect that is there that is going to affect the drivers in some capacity at the moment. But currently, as it stands, M. Whitford is within the pit box window of the two guys ahead, especially C. Hoffman, who is 1 second away from at the moment. So M. Whitford in third place, C. Hoffman in second, yet to make the final pit stop. So is Case Saranko, also yet to make the final pit stop at the moment.
It looks like Whitford is currently trying to overtake Hoffman as well.
It does seem that, and I think that's most likely going to be the case, as those fresher tires are really going to be the driving force, so to speak, for Whitford to overtake Hoffman. Hoffman's not doing too bad of a race here, the number 488 Ferrari, so could be that he goes long, could be that he goes really short in pits now. We're going to see what happens. Oh, bless you. So that would be good, but hopefully we're blessed with some decent racing. That'd be quite good, and it has been quite decent at the moment. But some more exciting racing, maybe some rain, maybe a pretty good overtake and whatnot. But as we're seeing that at the moment, currently,
the prediction for the race was a little bit mixed. There was a 20% chance of rain, but so far today we've been lucky and we haven't seen a single cloud in the sky, and that's... Well, the practice there was a little bit of clouds, but...
Saying that though, what we do see is an overtake between Whitford and Hoffman. So Hoffman going down the inside and Whitford going down the outside of the hangar straights. Now breaks, and now Whitford goes up into second place. 24 seconds separate them, the Case Saranko and M. Whitford. So Saranko's really got to pit now. I think that's the message to Hoffman to also pit now as well, to leave those tires till the end of the race as well.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Kara has lost time on Whitford, so As it looks right now, Kara is not going to finish first, but will he be able to keep second place? That is the question. Seeing as Fessler got a drive-through earlier, he might actually be able to.
Potentially. We've seen how fast Fassler is. James Pendry in the number 73 Audi goes out and now has completed his pit stops. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people who have not finished their pit stops for the race, and 24 minutes of the race remain at the moment. So I think for majority drivers, we are going to the end of this stint, and currently as it stands, Case Ranko and M. Whitford separated, I think by last time it said 24 seconds. Now going on board with M. Whitford, going through the sector detected, that is 24 seconds and 7/10. So we could potentially see that Case Saranko is being overtaken by M. Whitford in the other McLaren. So it's McLaren on McLaren. It's like Senna and Prost. Like, oh,
Hoffman was going through the ground there for a second, but he's back. I think it was some disconnection issues.
indeed, and that's happened quite a lot with ACC recently, but luckily nothing major at the moment. If I was Hoffman's race engineer, I'd probably be telling him to pit right now. That's the big thing, because there's traffic up ahead, and you don't want to be caught in that if you're chasing someone. But luckily, traffic does let him go quite easily. And now it's time to see the final couple of pit stops of this race. 22 minutes and 55 seconds to go within this race currently. As it stands, Case Saranko in the number 74 McLaren, 25 laps led. Not 25 laps led, but more 25 laps already gone within the Silverstone circuit, and potentially we're going to see about 10 or 20 more in a nutshell. No word on pitting at the moment, but we'll keep you posted. In the meantime, let's take a look at P. Daisy in the number 711 BMW, currently being chased by P. R. Morton in the 44 Porsche, and 51 Balikaya is also chasing down R. Morton as well. Currently as it stands, Kenny Powers, the individual we thought we would keep a lookout for, I think pitting soon. Should be, nope, doesn't pit, and 20 minutes.
Going back to Foldasi and Morton, it looks like that little pack there of Foldasi, Morton, and Balikaya still has to pit. So it's going to be interesting to see which strategies they've gone for. Is there any one of those drivers that still has a tire change to go, or is it just a stop and go? Because that might determine the outcome of that battle right there.
As I mentioned, though, you can do stop and go if your tires aren't that bad. I would suggest that they change the tires, because tires are still quite important, and every advantage makes a difference, really. Because if you don't change your tires and you're leading the pack, like R. Morton is, for example, or P. Daisy is rather, then you're just going to get overtaken quite easily. So I really doubt that it's worth doing that.
Yeah, you might be right there. However, it does... Yeah. Rocky Morton is actually in the first place of the AM class.
That's very well done to him, so
yeah,
he's not doing too bad.
Despite Balikaya been dominating the other races, and will probably be moved up to the silver class, Rocky Morton is giving him a fair battle this race. He's been sticking with him for most of the race. And although Balikaya has had some spins, Rocky Morton's been there, and he's not made any real mistakes.
Alright. So currently as it stands, Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 individuals have not pitted for their final pit stop at
And
the
two
moment.
of them are in a battle right now. Kenny Powers and Wouter Wilmink. Both of them
that would
still
be
has a pit stop, and they are fighting hard.
indeed they are, and I think that is one big thing that might happen. Is I think also I wouldn't say that's not C. Hoffman. That is who's in the front of the pack. That is Zawodisky. So he's
Yeah.
being lapped at the moment, but he is getting the slipstream off of Kenny Power, or Kenny Powers is getting slipstream off of him as they let him both by. So that's good. That's some good driving from Zawodisky at the moment. Wilmink and Powers will battle it out, and if they can't win it on track, they'll have to win it on strategy. In a sense, 18 minutes to go. Tire changes, fuel repairs could be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, this is a battle for the end. 18 minutes probably can't hold him off, but seeing what kind of pit strategy they're going for, it might be a battle that lasts all the way to the end.
Indeed, it will be, and it could be something interesting to see.
Yeah, it looks like they are a similar pace right now. I believe Kenny Powers last lap he did a 2 minutes and 300s, and Wouter Wilmink Wouter Wilmink is 0.8 faster per lap right now than Kenny. Oh, as Kenny just enters the pit lane.
So the
Oh,
oh, that's damage. Ooh. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but most likely it was.
I think he was a little bit too anxious there to get in the pit lane fast so he could get out.
That's gonna hinder him. That's definitely gonna hinder Kenny Powers in the number 5 Porsche.
I mean,
Lexus.
definitely assuming if he fixes that damage, it's definitely going to lose him that position.
I'm just gonna be on board with Wilmink. He might do the overcut. He might get Kenny there. So Kenny's still in the pits at the moment. Kenny's finished his pit stop, going out. I don't know if the damage was not much or if he didn't fix the damage.
I do believe that
he's going to the end of the race.
That's gotta have been a stop and go.
That's a stop and go indeed, as Kenny Powers gets out onto the circuit. Currently P5 at the moment, being chased by L Faster in P6.
Do we remember when? Do we remember when Powers took his last pit stop before this?
It was a while back. I remember. I think it was just at the beginning of the race as well.
Because then his tires are going to be pretty worn out then.
Yeah, it could be that. So, I mean, it could just be a very fast tire change as well. Maybe just not repair the damage or whatnot. But maybe he's fine with those tires. We'll see what happens because there's only about 16 minutes of the race left anyway. So,
I mean,
it's not
60 minutes is a long time for the tires. I believe
it is indeed, but
yeah, I believe 30 minutes is about, if you push your tires really hard, that's about where they will lose their full potential. But
grip.
Yeah. And anything after that is just downhill.
Oh, speaking of losing it's Wilmink. Who just lost it, but has got it back on track. That's a pretty smooth transition through the Cop's corner, and they're currently under pressure from Bali Kaya trying to unlap himself in the Porsche. So that was a bit of a scare, I think, for Wilmink. Just lost the rear end and
might have lost
whatnot.
in the race.
No, I don't think so. I think he's alright in terms of his car. Maybe the rear tires are just lit up, but he did very well to keep that off of the wall and onto the track, really. C. Hoffman, very curious case. Chase Taranko, equally as curious as well. 19 seconds separate him and Whitford. He's lost time. If he would have pitted, it would have been better for him to pit earlier as opposed to later. But we'll see what happens. He might just do stop and go and nurse those tires all the way to the end. 14 minutes of this Grand Prix is still remaining. On board with Case Saranko, he doesn't pit. Who does, though, is, I think that's R. Morton in the number 44 Porsche has just pitted for, I guess, his final pit stop for the session, and that leaves him the last of the Porsche drivers to finish their pit stops at the moment. So they're currently just pitted, and that is 1, 2, 3 individuals who have not pitted. I think that is just a quick stop and go, and that indeed that is a quick stop and go. He's finished his pit stops, and now he can go racing once again and chase after Full Daisy. He was just going.
Will Rocky be able to get out before Hermosilla here, though? Or Balikaya? And it does look like Balikaya is quite far back. I don't know.
They're just one position apart, but they do have a gap, so I would guess.
I believe before the pit stop, it was just 5 or 7 seconds between them, and now there's 42. So question is, did Balikaya take a longer pit stop with tire change? Or did he make some sort of mistake?
I'm not necessarily sure, but do you think that Balikaya...
No, wait, the time just updated. Is it just me?
Might just be you, yeah. You can tell me what
there's
you're
9 seconds.
be.
There's 9 seconds between them. Okay,
yes,
that makes more sense, yeah.
Because Morton just did a stop and go and Balikaya did the whole entourage. So, yeah, I think that was just a pit stop difference, really. In that aspect.
Yeah.
12 laps to go. 6 laps of racing more. So probably reached about 36, 37 laps. Whatnot. I'm surprised Case Saranko hasn't pitted yet. Genuinely surprised.
Yeah, I think he's going for that. Yeah, he's lost 6 seconds since last time we checked in with him, and yeah, it doesn't look like he's gaining anything from this right now. Although 3rd and 4th place also still hasn't done their last pit stop, so he might still be able to hold on to 2nd place there.
Indeed, it would be quite interesting to see what happens, but I mean, currently as it stands, C. Hoffman and W. Wilmink and P. Daisy all haven't pitted either, so really should think about that, or they're going to take the time penalty, possibly the disqualification as well. 10 minutes nearly on the clock within this hour and 15-minute race, and it's definitely been a bit of an emotional one. I can say that for a bit. A lot of triumphs and tribulations have been there. We have seen a spinning car. I think that is Zawadzki in the number 69 Ferrari. He just lost it through Beckett's. Has managed to keep the car going, so that's good. And I think those tires are really smoking at the moment. But yeah, about 10 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this race, and it's going to be interesting to see the final 4 individuals pit and what their strategy is.
Yeah, Fuldacy is not in the top battle. He's more like fighting with the amateurs right now, which is surprising to see. But Kara Saranko, Hoffman, and Rutger Wilmink all still have something to fight for. I don't know what your opinion is here, but I think Fessler is gonna at least overtake Wilmink and Hoffman. Then the question is if he's going to be able to overtake Soranko, if it's going to be a battle all the way to the end.
I think it's going to be a battle. He is in a lot of people's pit window. He's in Hoffman and Wilming's pit window.
Well, as
He
we
might be in Soranko's, but maybe not.
Wouter is going into the pit and almost hits the wall just as Powers.
Oof, that is that's interesting because we've seen, I think, people have been a bit too anxious to get into the pit lane, as you mentioned, and really ruin it. But yes, indeed, we do have W. Wilming in the number 141 McLaren there, and we do see, I think that is Zawadzki, who's lost it again, just approaching the final couple of corners. We are seeing El Fassler overtake W. Wilming, and that is him in 4th place.
Oh no!
At the moment.
No! Stop and
It
go.
is a
for
stop
Wilming.
and go for just as we were about to say as well. You know, just as we were about to say that he potentially has an outside chance of a podium or winning this race. He's got about 3 laps to do it, and he's just gone off the lap at the thing. And I think really it's just take. That's super unfortunate for the man who was
I really wonder.
challenging for the lead.
I really wonder how many positions he's going to lose from this.
He is safe till not 5th, not 6th, not 7th.
Foldation still have a pit stop, but it's going to be.
He may just be in 7th or 8th. It's his best bet at the moment.
Oh,
and
he was doing so well the entire race.
Yeah, and even with the penalty, he still fought back as well. So it is quite unfortunate to see what happens, but that's racing, really.
Yeah.
If he can pit maybe at the same time as the individuals ahead of him, it could give him an outside chance. But
I mean, if you look at the time difference between Wilming and Powers, it's 14 seconds. So that means that Wilming was pulling away from Powers up until that mistake he made.
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate to see, but you know, we live and we learn, I guess we could say. And currently, as it stands, but that's W. Wilming with the 30-second stop and go penalty. Has finished his pit stops, but currently has to slow down for the pit lane this time. The yellow flag, and that is Zawadzki. As per usual, the Ferrari spinning 4 laps down in the race.
I wonder if it's his new livery that's making him spin that much.
Maybe. Could be interesting. It's all part of the Ferrari master plan, as they typically say. Kay Soranko has not pitted. Who's gone off? And that is Hermosilla. That's another one of the Ferraris. That's 130. And he's just gone off at the moment, so that's pretty unfortunate for him. 3 people who haven't pitted yet. Last couple of minutes of this race.
Cara is entering the pit right now.
Caro at the leader of this race.
At the same time as Wilming. Wilming is taking a stop and go right now as well.
So Wilming will get ahead, and he does, due to his stop and go penalty. His stop and go is cleared. He is free to go till the end of the race. Caro does just do a stop and go, but this time it's not a 30-second one. It's just to get the mandatory pit stop out of the way. Sees Hoffman, and Hoffman still has a pit stop there. But if we go to the sector detector for the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds of this race, it's interesting. Indeed it is, with all the penalties and whatnot. We have seen Soranko fall out of the lead and Whitford have the lead, as is so rightfully his, going through the sector detectors on the Hangar Straight. Kay Soranko's in 3rd. And honestly, could you really ask for something other than that? He is technically in a net P2, unless he messes up Fassler in P4. And Hoffman has got to pit at Ferrari. and has got to do it. Otherwise, he risks getting a penalty or being disqualified out of the race.
I was
4
gonna
minutes.
say that Faldaci and Hanks are battling it out, but Faldaci still has his pit stop as well, just as Hoffman.
Speaking of, he goes into the pits, serves that pit stop. P7 Faldaci, not for much longer. I don't think. Maybe P9, if anything.
Maybe
Depending on the.
Wilmink. Yeah, might be a battle here with Wilmink and Faldaci for the end.
Could definitely be interesting. I see the 711 BMW, one of the last individuals to come in for the pit stops, and the second last pit stop is Hoffman. Potentially will now try to come in to the pits and hopefully really salvage of this. And he goes into the but that's just a connection issue for me. I thought he just went into the wall for me, but
Was that Hoffman?
he does go into the pits. He's into the pits now. And K Saranko takes P2. Can try to challenge for the lead, but the lead is about 18 seconds away. That is the last pit stop of this race.
We do have a battle between Wilmink and Faldaci right now. Wilmink is right behind Faldaci. So Faldaci came out right in front of him.
So that is quite unfortunate. Obviously, Wilmink had the penalty, but has the space and has the tires and has pretty much all the advantage, especially the warmer tires as well. And Faldaci really feeling under the pressure. He is seeing the McLaren in his rear view mirrors at the moment, but we could potentially see them sending one down the inside. Didn't happen. Now going through the last couple of corners as it stands, going through the typical Grand Prix start. Now through Abbey, as we can see, Abbey now, and then we can see Farm. Yeah.
Hopefully, Wouter does not forget to set up his overtake. Hopefully, he does not just launch it. That's a mistake you see a lot with these sim drivers, especially new ones, that they tend to go for the launch into the corner instead of setting it up, because an overtake usually starts a few corners ahead of the corner that you want to overtake in.
Indeed, and true words could not have been really said in that case, as I think we are on this, final lap at the moment. We should be, and or no, I guess second to final lap, but you're seeing Faldaci and Wilmink really battle that out for that P8 position. Faldaci's just come out. He's got the better position at the moment, but Wilmink, he's got the fresher tires, he's got the pace, and I think he's got the experience in this track. Faldaci going a bit wide, going back onto the racing line through now Maggots and now through Beckett, and Wilmink tries to extend, has to brake a bit more, but it's worked, but it hasn't, but it's worked, but it hasn't. Faldaci gets the better exit down the hanger straight, and that's a really simple case of trying to overextend and not really working it out. That's a case of trying to send it through Maggots and Beckett, as we've seen previously in this race, but it's not really worked out for a lot of individuals, and is trying to overextend, is trying to get that place, but unfortunately you've really got to be patient within these circumstances. You can't exactly send it and hope for the best. Like, you can see Faldaci making mistakes, but you want to be able to do it. As T. Hermosilla hits for his non-deliberate pit stop, that might just be for damage, or might just be for tires, whatnot. He does go out of the pits. That was the last mandatory pit stop that we saw, but this is the last pit stop, I think, in general. 40 seconds left on the clock for M. Whitford, just approaching the final couple of corners now. He can really soak it all in, as he's won here at Silverstone, and unless he messes up royally right now,
be one more lap, isn't it?
I think he might. It is about 18. He's slowing down for the line. He might just have this bit of a glory lap, and he's slowing down. He's lifting off the throttle. He doesn't want to stop because his position is still at stake, and he stops, and he does go for the line. Does he? And he does stop.
That's one way to do it.
And the leader has finished the race, indeed, and that is Kay Saranko. He was really safe to the individuals behind. Kay Saranko comes in P2. M. Whitford wins the Silverstone Grand Prix. C. Hoffman, very impressive drive for him in the Ferrari, comes P3. L. Fassler in the Aston Martin goes P4. And we have Tom Hanks in the other Aston Martin P5. At the moment, Jay Pendry P6, P. Foldacy P7, W. Womack P8, R. Morton P9, T. Baldikaya P10, T. Hermosilla P11, and M. Tarski rounds off your grid as the final individuals are now finishing their races.
Hoffman takes first silver class, and Rocky takes first M class, and they cross the line almost about the same time. So that would be all the winners finishing the race. We still have some drivers on track from the looks of it. Tom Hanks.
So currently, as it stands, Kenny Powers finishes his race. P5, very impressive from him. Tom Hanks, 666 Aston Martin, finishes his race. And as he downshifts, we're waiting for M. Tarski in the 420 Audi, who was doing quite well in this race. In the beginning, now comes down the final couple of corners to finish P11. And that is round 3 at Silverstone.
That was a quite interesting race.
For sure. Interesting is
a little bit of more incidents in the start than we would have wished for, but I'm lost for words. I don't know what to say.
I mean, lost for words is one thing. It was a good race. It was clean racing. It was fun racing, and it was very strategic racing. So definitely we'll look forward to obviously hearing what the drivers are saying, and obviously the next round as well. But it was definitely something that I will probably remember, because it was some daring overtakes that I will never forget.
Yeah, that overtake at the was it Foldacy in the Maggots of Beckett's?
It was, yeah.
That was probably the overtake of the race, as far as I could see.
Yeah. There was
green and white checkers in the air.
I don't think we have. No, we don't have any drivers waiting for NTB at the moment, so that's quite unfortunate.
I think we might pull our see.
Oh, Michael! Overshoots turn 1.
Green. Green wide with hand. They're running in there.
Let's get him up here. Aro.
Hello.
How was the race?
It was nice.
Yeah, you had some issues in the start of the race, or before the race, rather.
Yeah, I don't know. My internet is weird.
Yeah. You got second place, anyways.
Yeah.
Wait, did you have you had a podium from before, didn't you?
No.
You did not? Okay.
No. First points of the season.
Oh yeah, you had some incidents, disconnection, and yeah. All right. Well, our second place is not too bad. Hopefully, that is some points towards your team, and it's going to be interesting to see where you guys end up in the team championship.
Yeah, unlucky for Alban. Had a lot of issues at the start.
Yeah. We were watching him, and he seemed to be struggling quite a bit.
Yeah, he had some weird issues.
Yeah, what was the issues?
Don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for this race. Nice driving, and hopefully we can see you on first place next race.
Yep.
All right. We have Christopher Hoffman in waiting for interviews right now.
Indeed.
Winner of the silver class, I believe. Hello there.
Oh,
How are you feeling after the race?
exhausted, but this track, the first really hurt so much.
What was
In the end, I survived it. Yeah.
Yeah, what happened in the start, you said?
I mean, the first 3 corners all race long. T1, T1, 2, and 3 are so quite hard.
Oh yeah, we saw a lot of people spin there.
Yeah.
A lot of people hit the wall. I don't know if that's the place where they hit the wall. Shiv?
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, that was pretty interesting. I mean, like, are you? Was it a bit too much that you were just entering the wall with, or
Yeah, I think
especially I think
most
there
of
was
the
a
guys are just getting in there too fast. So
yeah.
I think I give up like half a second every round in this corner just to stay in the race after 10 minutes when the tires were a little bit gone. So yeah, I think nearly everyone besides the first 3 really got some incident, right?
Indeed, yes. But it was a really good race from you, and I'm just really happy to see that. How do you feel about that like whole thing of really keeping it consistent?
I think it nearly helps because the tires don't die too fast. Because it's not so hot. I feel like the tires are just gone faster if the track is hot. So I think that's quite fine. And yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a good
Yeah.
race, and I believe did you get third overall
Yeah,
as
third
well?
overall.
Okay.
Again, like last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, yeah, very nice race, man. And
Yeah, thank you very much.
congratulations.
Thanks. See you next week.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right. It looks like we got AM class here as well. Rocky Morton. He won the AM class for the. I believe this is his first victory ever in any of our races. So
Indeed.
big congratulations to him here in a second. Rocky,
Hey,
congratulations, man!
gee, that was so exhilarating. Gee whiz.
You and what's his name, Balikaya. You were fighting the entire race.
Yeah, yep, yep. It was. I am literally drenched, sitting here sweating.
Yeah, wasn't that your first victory racing with us,
Um,
or have you had one before?
um, can't recall. It's the first or second anyway. Yeah, in class. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. That was awesome seeing you actually fight with him for that long because he's been like dominating the AM class for the 2 first races, but this race you guys were very even.
Yeah, yep. The last half hour, he was 7 or 8 seconds behind me the whole time, and I was just waiting for him closing that gap. He's a consistent driver, and he's been a fast driver that first 2 races. So I was waiting on him closing the gap, but I managed to maintain that 7 or 8 second gap. So it was stressful, but I was so glad to cross that finishing line.
Yeah, I actually believe didn't we see him Balikaya spin when Rocky was in the pit lane as well? Or am I thinking of someone else? Uh, yeah, I don't believe she was there, but yeah, I believe.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm just very silent.
yeah. No, but
I thought I was behind Thomas Hermosilla for a good while, and before I knew it, I was past him. I don't know how that happened. I don't know if he spun off or what happened to Hermosilla.
I think he had a pit stop in the end of the race. I'm not sure why he pitted. Some sort of issue, maybe.
Yeah, I think he said something about fuel. Maybe he had to top up with fuel.
Oh, yeah, that's a big mistake. All right, well, congratulations on the victory.
Yeah, thanks.
If this was actually your first victory, then very, very big congratulations.
Yeah, it feels like my first victory for sure. Because yeah, a lot of that was quite stressful. I had to let a couple of aliens past a couple of times, so that's always stressful in case you make a mistake. But yeah, it all went very well for me today.
Yeah, I'm very happy for you because I always root for you when we race. So yeah, I'm your #1 fan.
Yeah, I know that, Eric, and that's always added pressure on me. I always like, oh, Eric's rooting for me. I've got to do well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, congratulations, and hope to see you next race.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Chev.
He,
All right. I believe that was it.
I think that should be it. Yeah.
That was it for round 3 at Silverstone with the Olympus Racing. Hopefully, you will join us for the next race, which will be at let me see so I don't say the wrong track. Is it Brands Hatch? I think it's Brands Hatch.
I think it is.
So we're staying in the UK, and hopefully it will be a dry race because Brands Hatch in the rain it's a pain in the ass, to say the
Yeah.
least.
In the rain, usually pain. Let's say that much for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see and follow our live streams. And we will see you next time. This is Eric
See you next
signing out.
time.
The next time.